Okay, the electric power is coming into the structure below grade. We're over here on the west side of the home. I cannot see, maybe because of the deck, but I cannot see the grounding rod. I'm sure the home has it. Coming over here again on the west side, this meter should be sealed on 3 sides. This home was built this morning, and it was not. But we would have a main electric shutoff switch on the outside of the building, but we don't. This power supply below grade that's coming in, this is the way we built them in the 1980s. If it was today, you would have a sleeve on here so it could expand and contract and it would not stress it out. We got a couple junction boxes over here. I have no idea what they're for. Good home inspection. I have no idea what they're for. Okay, they're not hot right now, but they could become hot. These wires are touching the box cover. And one time there was a condensing unit out here, apparently, so that might have had something to do with it. And then they rerouted that. Okay, electric fixtures, luminaries on the exterior should be sealed. Like this should be sealed on 3 sides. That should have been sealed on 3 sides. Okay, got a little crack in our lens there. Moving on along. Then, so we come into the garage with the cracked floor. Opening up an overhead doors to get some air and light in here. These are your electric service panels. And on a small house like this, I can only imagine why we would need 3 electric service panels. This one over here is, for the most part, it's all 220. This 220. This is the main cabinet. Okay. So this is a square D. Over here, this other one, it's a GS. It's a GS, but we got GS breakers. We've also got square D breaker. What is this one? I think that's a Siemens. I'll have to look that up better. You're not supposed to mix breakers on a cabinet. Okay. Our leads are a little long on this. We should have protective boots on these. And this is the main neutral coming in, and it should be wrapped with white tape. White tape. Okay. Then you shouldn't have a gap more than 1/8 of an inch in your cabinet. Okay, because the cover is going to fit right over here. This gap is going to be here. If this cabinet was to melt down, then the fire would roll out and through and into the wall system. These are all more than 1/8 of an inch, more than 1/8 of an inch. These white hots coming in here. Okay, these white hots should be wrapped with black tape, just like this should be wrapped with white tape. I get it. If you don't know that's the main neutral, you don't belong in this cabinet. I get it. If you do not know this is hot, you don't belong in this cabinet. I get it. But it should be wrapped basically foolproof. Basically foolproof. Okay, our bonding location is on the water heater. Our bonding location is on the water heater, but it should be labeled in here. I'd like to think that any electrician could come in. He just can kind of know the lay of the land. You can see the bonding right there. Okay, not that hard to figure out. If a home inspector can figure it out, it's not that difficult, but it's supposed to be labeled in there. I didn't make the rules. I didn't make the rules about that. Okay, then, well, that GFCI works. But speaking of GFCI, we're going to go to low voltage, high voltage, low voltage, high voltage. None of these receptacle outlets are GFCI protected except for that one right there. It was the original of the exterior, and this one over here is GFCI protected. But the ceiling's not GFCI protected. The walls, none of these walls are GFCI protected. Back to the cabinet. Okay, these are stackable breakers. These are allowed. You can see it right there on the label. And speaking of labels, these cabinets are not properly labeled. They're supposed to be labeled. This, see where it says danger? That's printing. They're supposed to be printed, and they're supposed to be complete. So a lot of these circuit breakers on here, nobody knows what they go to. Trial and error. Trial and error. Okay, they're just not labeled properly. And then coming on along. Oh, white hots. I already did white hots. Oh, double lugging. I knew I'd come up with. And then over here, neutrals, grounds can be double lugged, not triple lugged, but double lugged. Okay. But just because the ground can be double lugged, the neutral cannot be double. Well, I guess it can. You know, I mean they did it, but neutrals should not be double lugged. So we got double lugged neutrals in the main. So what did we learn? We learned that our electric meter is not sealed on three sides. We learned that we don't know where the grounding is. We learned that the bonding is not labeled in here. We learned that we've got gaps larger than 1/8 of an inch. We learned that we do not have protective covers on L1 and L2. These are not required yet. Okay, but on L1 and L2 we don't have protective covers. We learned that our neutral is not wrapped with white. We learned that we got white hots. We learned that some of our neutrals in the main cabinet are double lugged. We learned that some of the wires are touching the cabinet cover. We learned that our cabinets are not properly labeled. So this is pretty, I mean, for a house this size, I gotta say, this is a pretty complicated electrical system. No doubt they put all this lighting in here, and I'm thinking that maybe at one time this was the model for the neighborhood. Okay, at one time it's looking like this was the original car entry. Okay, that's what it looks like. It's like it might have been. There's even the joint right there for where the driveway was poured down. So this was extended at one time. All right.